Oh man, I've been looking forward to this for a long time. Death Note. 広がる闇の中交わし合った革命の次に誰にも邪魔させるわけにはいかないから Death Note is a 26-episode show surrounding the morals of justice. The characters, or at least the main ones, consist of two people. Light Yagami, a crazy teenager who is awarded the nickname Kira by the masses after he starts killing criminals with a mysterious item known as a Death Note, a book that can kill someone simply by writing down their name. And the other character, L, a really abstract super detective who takes up the difficult task to find and stop Kira. Now then, with the main plot out of the way, I'd like to move on to my opinion coming into this show. Believe it or not, Death Note is the show that actually got me into anime. I was sitting in computer class when suddenly a friend of mine went onto the shared drive and found an oddball show called Death Note. Both me and him didn't really like anime at the time, but he started watching it and really liked it. So I went home and ended up marathoning episodes until midnight. I just couldn't stop. I loved it. Anyway, after Death Note, I proceeded to go on to watch stuff like Code Geass, Clannad, and Hellsing, and before long, I was hooked on anime. My friend, however, well, he moved on to Naruto, so he's still going with that, what with the 700 episodes and stuff. Anyway, back onto the review. Light Yagami is certainly an interesting character to look at. From the beginning, he had good intentions to help the world, but it didn't take long for his ego to grow, and soon he became the prime example of absolute power corrupts absolutely. At first, he took it upon himself to start punishing all of the world's major criminals, almost like he was cleaning up the world one villain at a time. But that all changed with the arrival of L. At first, L remained anonymous and began his search for Kira. The sheer brilliance of L's intelligence is astounding, easily being able to pick up on lies, body language, and motive of action without any sort of effort. After a while, I considered him to be a master of social subtext, but you sure as hell wouldn't think it looking at him at first sight. L never seems to sit in his chair properly. He has an obsession with sweets and candy and often plays with his food. He says and does the most random things in conversations, and overall is very strange and abstract, which is weird because him and Light seem so similar, and yet so different. It's almost as if they're exact opposites.
L. Kira. I will hunt you down wherever you're hiding and I will eliminate you! I am justice!
Instantly, L is able to deduce that Kira is childish and hates losing. Knowing this, he challenges him directly with a stunt on TV. After the game begins, Light's motives shift entirely from saving the world to killing L. It becomes an obsession and only further cements Light as an evil character in the eyes of many, killing anyone who dares get in his way. L, however, always interested me in the way he dealt with the Kira case. He was mainly offensive, always moving forward to try and catch Kira, but occasionally the tables would turn. Light would go on the offensive in an attempt to find L's identity, and usually he would succeed. This is what interested me, as Light seemed to win most of the trade-offs, and L's response would not be to defend, but to switch it around and use the opening to find out more details about Kira. I may be making it sound a little more complex than it actually is, but it's all I can do without really spoiling the entire plot. Anyway, with this constant offense from both sides, it didn't take long before the two of them met in a direct face-to-face confrontation.
Where's this coming from? And who is he? Is it safe to just ignore him? But I wonder what this information actually is. I won't tell anyone. What is it? I want to tell you I'm L. What? There's no way. What's he talking about? If he really was L, he'd never admit to it. I thought this guy was a bit strange, but this is pretty extreme.
The plot of Death Note only gets better from here, as the two of them are trying to find out more about one another, both hidden behind their wall of personas. Each one twisting reality as much as humanly possible to stay safe and attack. In terms of plot and story, I'll stop in fear of spoiling the entire show. But the last thing I'll say on the matter is, I love the second-guessing nature of the show.
Yes, I'll be fine though. It's been a while, but at one time I was actually the British Junior Champion.
If I ask him if he's British, would he think I'm trying to find out more about him because I'm Kira?
Relax, Light. While it's true that Kira hates losing, it's also true that most people would rather win than lose. It's human nature.
Is he going to think that I'm Kira if I go for the win? I suppose I could just lose on purpose, but if I do, it could work against me. Since he'd expect Kira to want to win, he might also expect me to throw the match to avoid suspicion.
I can see the wheels turning, Light Yagami. I'm already in your head.
And then you're going to try and trap me by getting me to say something that only Kira would know.
However, I'm sure you'll tell me you need to know if you can trust me first. And of course, the only way to win your trust will be to share what I know about Kira.
If you want me to discuss Kira with you, it only makes sense that I'd want to ask for proof that you are in charge of the investigation, and more importantly, that you are really ill as you say you are.
So it goes without saying that the first thing you're going to want from me is...
some kind of confirmation from a third party that you really are L, which means
we'll have to go to Task Force headquarters.
So basically, the characters are actually two of the greatest anime characters I have ever seen, and in all honesty, you can't have one without the other. Their personalities fit the theme of the show quite well, as there is never really any big action moments, it's all mind games. That makes the show very different than anything I have ever seen. In other shows, an epic moment would be a final battle, a cheesy one-liner, or a big explosion. In this show, however, it's all about the presentation of the characters' intelligence that makes this show so great. Last thing I'll talk about before getting onto the score is the music. A lot of songs are very calm and relaxed, but the music certainly ramps up when it needs to, and some of the more intense songs, such as L's theme, have become sort of memes by today's standard. However, there is one song I must talk about, and that's Lowen's Solipsism, a song featuring a grand choir that plays very frequently throughout the show, and did a perfect job of making certain scenes seem godlike and epic. Seriously, who would have thought that writing names down could be so epic?
using the Death Note, I'll change the world. And I will become the god of this new world. It's just as I thought. Humans are so interesting.
Now then, for the rating. As I said at the beginning of this review, this is a 26 episode show, simply because I refuse to acknowledge the last 10 or so episodes because, well, they suck. To the point, I will rate this show twice, one with the extra season and one without. My rating for Death Note, episode 1 through 37, is an 8 out of 15. And my other rating for Death Note, episodes 1 through 26, is an 11 out of 15. Now then, if you haven't seen Death Note, go watch it. And if you don't like anime, still go watch it, because, hey, it got me into it.